we had this discussion about his residency a year back. I think that was last year. Was it last year or the year before?
I think that is in 2019, I guess.
No, you applied in February 2020. But yeah, so Dexter completed his program at Centennial College in Ontario, and then after that, he moved to Nova Scotia and completed a year of work experience, and then he applied for AIPP intermediate stream. Am I correct, Dexter?
Yeah.
And we promised, guys, last year that we are going to have a continuation of that video because now he
The part
finally
two.
got the residency and he almost wanted to go home to the Philippines.
Yes.
But let's
And we will be
find
sharing
out.
with you. We will be sharing with you right now.
Yeah.
This is also like a video of a little encouragement for those who are planning to take 1 year program. Like a lot of people were asking, um, this is how much I only have. Will this be enough for me to sustain my study in Canada? Like the very simple answer there is if you feel that you can't afford, then wait a little longer, save a little longer, or seek for some sponsors, because you might be able to put yourself in a place wherein you have just enough, but then when you're here, you have nothing to support your study in the long term.
Yeah, like people would say, oh, take a 2-year program instead of 1 year. But what if you cannot afford 2 years? Is it
True.
the end of your Canadian dream? Then
No, definitely not.
recheck your finances. And also, this is the thing that we learn as we talk to students that okay, the student would like to get 2-year program, and I would ask, like, do you have enough funds for 2 years?
And probably the most of the stream is that the one who's having the open work permit will be the primary applicant
Yes,
for the permanent
exactly.
residency.
Yeah.
That is usually what's going on. But for single applicant like me, it's just gonna be me doing all the work for myself and for the application. So if it happened to me, and it would happen to other people that would say that 1 year is really tight, it would be really risky. It really depends on how you laid out the plan and how you what you call this, you do a feasibility studies, and then choose also as a 1 year program that won't be labeled by the visa officer as lower than your educational attainment
Yes.
back in your home country.
That's exactly true because I have a student again, and she came to me with a program, and also like when you choose the program, I definitely agree on that. Look at the career path. For example, if
Yes.
you're working as a supervisor right now, and the program that you're gonna take will only lead to an entry level, doesn't make any sense. So look at the program. Yeah, like you'll see that on the program details, right?
Your next step is to plan ahead on the streams. You need to do your research for the federal stream and the provincial nominee program on that province, or the pilot program of another province. So after I finish my 1 year program at Toronto, I moved to Nova Scotia, but not until I maximize the grace period of 90 days before
That
I
was
apply
90
for my
days,
postgrad.
guys, during our time, because
Yeah.
a lot of people
During our
watch,
time.
who watched our video before, we were saying that 90
After
days.
90
That
days.
was
But
during
now,
our time.
that was during our time, but now it was
It's
doubled
different.
to 180 days.
Yes.
So you should put that into equation that after you finish your program on that day, you have maximum of 180 days whether your study permit
Permit.
expires before the 180 days,
Yes.
then you need to follow that.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, on top of that, guys, once you submitted your postgraduate work permit, it will take like 2 months.
2 months. So it's
2
more
months
than
to
a
process.
year.
Yes, and the validity of your postgraduate work permit is not retroactive. So it will start from the day
You
it
got
got
approved. That. Oh, apply for your post-graduation work permit right away. For me, do not
No,
just apply right
no.
away. Just weigh
Yeah.
in. Do you have the job offer? If you don't have the job offer, take that time to look for jobs.
Yes, or sit down and then wait. Am I gonna process my PR in this province, or are there other province that can
Yes.
have an easier pathway for a PR? So, I mean, like, nothing is set on stone. Go out from your comfort zone, guys. Because
Yes.
what is it that they say in a sayings that only the brave gets the prize?
True.
You will never discover islands unless you leave the shore.
And you never regret like moving to Nova Scotia, right?
Yeah, I did not regret a single bit. Well, the biggest challenge is, of course, the pandemic. And my workplace closed.
But
So
what happened? This is like the thing.
yes,
You were
the thing. So this is our fourth pointer.
This is the
right? This is our
fourth lesson, guys. This is like the major
Yeah.
fourth lesson.
This is the major lesson that you should also pay into account. Take into account. So, my employer told me that he submitted the extension of my work permit on January 2020. So, here I am, very complacent, very confident that, yay, I'm already on an implied status, so I continued working.
Yeah.
And I continued working. So what happened was my employer mistakenly submitted via mail the work permit application on a different processing office. So the processing office, when they open it a month later, they realized that this should have not been sent on their office. This should have been sent to Sydney,
Nova
because
Scotia.
that is where Sydney, Nova Scotia, and it was sent in Alberta. Imagine. So it means from January 21, 2020 to February 23, 2020, I have technically lost my status, my legal
and
status.
you were working. They
And
didn't
I
know.
was working because I didn't know. But if that was the case, I should have restored right away, applied for a restoration of status. But since I didn't know, and then COVID happened, nobody knows until July. So we reopened on July, and then I just asked the employer, like, can we make a follow-up for the paper?
You just thought
6
that
months.
because it was affected by
I thought,
COVID.
yes, I thought
And-
that it's because of COVID that there's a delay in processing the work permit.
yeah. And then you also initiated to follow up the application because you were wondering
True.
I should have my PR right
Work-
now.
Right now, yeah, based on the timeline that I set to myself, like July, I should have my PR application approved already by now. But even the work permit, I still haven't got it. And she break the bad news. She said, like, unfortunately, you lost your status since January 21, 2020. I was like, oh my God.
I remember your reaction when you called me like, what?
Yes. Yes, you guys could never believe, or you cannot imagine how horrified I am. Like, it's like even if a king cobra would bit me, I would never feel it.
Yes, and I remember you told me during that time, like, am I going home now? Like, is
Yes,
it the
yes.
end? You know, it's sometimes
Yes,
you.
I was like, yes, I thought that it's the end of that line for me, because the only criteria for you to restore your status is if you are within 90 days of losing your status, and I was way past 90 days, and I was also worried, like, oh, holy mother of maples. It's like even if I also thought that, okay, if I'm gonna go home, I'll just apply under CEC. But then part of the requirements of CEC is that you did not have an illegal status in Canada. I was like, I'm already disqualified from CEC. Yeah, I was planning to cancel my AIPP application
Good thing you
and
did
just
not.
yeah, and then just shift on to Canadian Express. No, Canadian. What is it again?
Canadian experience
Experience.
class.
Canadian Experience class because I have like more than 1 year as manager.
Yeah.
But then one of the eligibility is you should have not worked or stayed in Canada illegally or without the status. And I was like,
Yeah, this is the lesson. Like, you should be hands-on because you
yes,
relied to your
true.
employer.
So that this is the lesson I wanted you to take from me. That you need to be hands-on whenever you submit an application. Do records. If there is a third party involved,
Yes.
put everything on record, and then ask for the timeline and ask for the next step, just so you have the overview and you know what's next and what's ahead, rather than just like, okay, here's my paper, you do you, or you do your job and just give me updates. I
Yeah.
mean, that would have been the mistake that I should have avoided, because I'm pretty much, because the time when my employer said that, oh, I've already submitted it, I have that bad feeling in me, like there's something
Do you
wrong, but I was just
trust?
like,
Do you trust
no, no, no,
enough
no, no, no,
your?
no. My employer is really good.
Yeah.
He's really nice, but the thing is, there's this little voice in you that says that, no, it's not done. When they submitted the work permit application, that was on January, I have 90 days to submit the actual permanent residency application.
Yes.
That part I did it by myself, so I was hands-on with the permanent residency application, which is also paper-based. But that won't be considered as an implied status if your first application for work permit is already invalid. So you cannot take into consideration that, okay, I already submitted my permanent residency status, permanent residency application, so therefore I should be on an implied status based on the permanent residency application. But going back, you can never be eligible to apply for that application unless you have a valid work permit,
Yeah.
which I technically don't have. And we'll start from there. The most important thing, I have passed the storm.
Yes.
The biggest storm.
God, that was almost a year.
That's almost a year of delay because of just one single mistake.
Yeah.
It cost me a year of delay. And
Yes.
COVID didn't help at all.
But are
Make
you
the
still
matters
gonna encourage them to get the 1-year program? Because that's the
Yes.
main thing here. Are you still,
Yes.
if you will turn back time, are you still gonna take 1-year program?
Yes, if I could turn back time, I would still take 1 year. It's economical, it's practical, plus it will still give you the same output. Like, say for example, for
Yes,
you took the
exactly.
2 years, I took 1 year, I got the PR.
Yeah, it actually, I totally agree on that. Right? If you plan ahead and calculate and weigh the pros and cons, and and you're very sure that, okay, this is actually gonna work out, then do it. Do not be discouraged just because they told you so, that because other people got negative experience because of the 1-year
True.
program.
I mean, here is my 2 cents, Ems. Like, most of the people who plans to go here, you should have planned everything ahead of time, so that you can have contingency plans in case your plan A did not work.
Because you
Really?
plan, right? You plan. It's just that
Yes, I planned.
COVID is not included in your initial plan.
in
Because
the
walang
equation.
COVID noon.
Plus, come to think of it, Ems, people who, like us, who planned, failed. How much more for those who did not
Who,
plan to
yeah, at
come?
all. That's
Who
true.
would just
That's
like,
true.
okay, I'll just submit everything and come what may.
Welcome, Mark and Pia, to
My first
SD
employer was a
Canada.
Filipino. He was a head chef here.